It's time for another one-off rebuild, and today we're heading down into the Championship to try and take Blackburn Rovers back to Premier League glory. That's right, we'll be taking over at Blackburn Rovers in the second division of the English football pyramid, a team with plenty of history, 3 Premier League wins, or top division wins should we say, the last one being in 1995. They've had great players like Alan Shearer in their history, as well as 6 FA Cup wins and 1 Carabao Cup. This is a club that has won it all domestically, and we'll be hoping to restore some of that glory to the club, because if you look in recent years, since this year here in 2011, they slipped down in the Championship and have not recovered. At one point they were in League One and they've just been floating around in mid-table of the second division. We'll be hoping to scrape them away from that. We've got an updated transfer database to keep it as in line with real life as possible, and we've got some decent facilities, recruitment and coaching to start off with, but we'd like to see that improved over time. We haven't got too much of a budget in our first year, only £1 million and 10,000 in the wage budget. Before we check out our squad and what we might do with that money though, I'm going to ask you guys, if you do enjoy the video, then please go ahead and hit that like button for us. I know some people don't like that I ask for likes, but they really help the video. So if anyone could just take a second, hit that button, forget you ever did it, it would really mean a lot to the channel. And if you could as well, if you haven't yet hit the subscribe button, if you're in this pretty huge percentage of people watching who aren't subscribed, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe too, because before you know it, if all of you guys did, we would see a huge increase in subscriber numbers. This Blackburn rebuild came from a comment in the previous video, so let me know who you want to see rebuilt next in the comments down below. And with that being said, let's take a look at the squad. Our best player is this man, Thomas Kaminski, a Belgian former under-21 goalkeeper, 29 years of age, who's been at Blackburn for a few years, having joined from Ghent. Ryan Hedges looks like a decent option on the right-hand side, actually for the Championship, a very good player. But we've got some great young talent as well that are already very good for our first team that could help us straight away, which is really good to see. We could build this young English Blackburn homegrown core in the squad. The first one is John Buckley here, who's been at Blackburn for years, 3.5-star current ability, potential to be nearly 5-star. Adam Wharton, another one, 18 years of age, already ready for the first team, potential to do amazing things in his career. And young 17-year-old English centre-back Ashley Phillips could be a real bright spark in our defence, and that's if we can hang on to him, because I imagine there's going to be a lot of clubs interested in him. I think in real life he might be moving to Tottenham. At least when I downloaded this transfer update, he's still at Blackburn, and he's still someone that we can use. So now we know where we stand, I'm going to take a look with the budgets we've got, see if we can bring any players in, move some players out, and find a tactic to work with our side. And the only signing that I did make was an extra midfielder. You'll see why with the tactic that we're playing in a second, and it is Charlie Patino on loan from Arsenal. In real life he went over to Blackpool on loan last season I believe and did very well. Now you can't see that here in his history because it actually says we're in 2022, we've just got the updated squads from 23, so in this world he kind of never really got his move to Blackpool, so bear that in mind. But yes, Charlie Patino, phenomenal player, great potential, comes in on loan from Arsenal and hopefully will help our team out a lot in the midfield. And this is how we're lining up, a simple 4-3-3 that I'm hoping will get the best out of some of our young talents. I'm going to make sure that Ashley Phillips plays as many games as possible to develop him as much as we can between the ages of 17, 18, 19, so we're forcing him to play while we simulate. This is a tactic we're going for. If we have a look at where our best 11 is currently, it is currently this, with Kaminski in goal, Rankin Costello, Hiam Wharton, Pickering, Lewis Travis, John Buckley, Adam Wharton, Ryan Hedges, Sigurdsson and Gallagher. Gallagher's our main man up front. I don't know much about him in real life, whether I really trust him here to be a top goal scorer for us in the Championship, I'm not too sure. Maybe next year we can look for a striker, depending on if we end up in the Prem or not. But let's simulate the first year and see how we get on. And it's not been the best season, it's not been the worst. Kind of what you'd expect for this Blackburn team. Predicted to finish 8th, we finished 7th. A good 5 points away from even being on the playoff positions, and 20 odd points away from the teams that actually went up. Leicester going unbeaten with 35 wins and 11 draws. A crazy result from Leicester there. 3 teams getting 100 points, Ipswich getting 96. We're down there on 76. Only a few points away from 10th, but we are there in 7th. The cup runs weren't too special, knocked out by Tottenham in the Carabao and Bournemouth in the FA Cup. Nothing that's really out of the ordinary here, just a very normal season, although if we're talking about the best performers, I think I need to give some credit to Sam Gallagher, who I underrated at the start of this year. He's gone and scored 29 goals as the advanced forward in our system. Clearly good enough for the Championship, if not the Prem, so maybe we do hang on to him. Ashley Phillips has started to develop really nicely too, wanted by Arsenal, Liverpool and PSG. We'll do our best to try and hold on to him, but whether we'll be able to, I'm not too sure. We might have to give him a new contract. But he's started to develop well, as have some of our young players like John Buckley here, who had a good season for us overall. Nothing too special, but they're getting game time, they're improving, and hopefully we can build around this Blackburn core. But now we're ready to really get stuck into the rebuild. We get some money now, £7 million and 8 grand in the wage budget. Let's see what kind of players we can attract to our championship side. We'll start with an outgoing. Our Blackburn team had a few options up front, and I didn't really see the need for having Niall Ennis here. As good as he might be, we've decided to let him move after only 7 appearances. He's gone to Barnsley for about 200k. And because our budget wasn't amazing, I've focused on a few loan deals to improve our team first. First and foremost, we've got Jayden Philogene. He's coming in from Aston Villa on loan. He had a season out at Middlesbrough last year where he played okay, but our scouts reckon he could be good for us as that inside forward on the left-hand side. I feel like he's got what it takes to be a good player there, so we'll see whether it works out, but he's in for the season on loan. And some competition up front for Sam Gallagher. We have got Troy Parrott in on loan from Tottenham. He actually played 8 times off the bench for Tottenham last year, didn't do too well, but he is someone with a lot of talent, a lot of potential. Maybe he does really well here and we keep him permanently. I'm not sure how it will go, but he's an Ireland international, scoring goals for them already, and hopefully that will translate well into a top scorer in the championship. And then our only real signing was Marco Balat, who we actually spent proper money on to make a permanent deal from Dinamo Zagreb, 3.2 million for a guy that's been playing here and there for their side but not really starting, so he was available for quite a cheap fee. We've bought him in. He's a very talented midfielder who can play in 3 different roles. Ideally though, he is going to be a playmaker in our side. He's got everything that you'd want from a championship midfielder, and he's valued at about 10 million. We only paid 3 million for him, so to me that seems like good business, as you can see from the right hand side here. A very well-rounded central midfielder. It actually doesn't do all that much to our best 11, or at least what the game predicts our best 11 to be. I'm pretty sure this is everyone that we expected from before. None of those new signings actually breaking in just yet, but we'll give it the season, see how we get on. Hopefully this year we can get promoted. If not, this might turn into a very hard rebuild. I'm not really sure where this team's at just yet. If we go to the season preview, we're predicted to come 9th, so we've actually got worse apparently in terms of our squad, or at least the other teams have got better around us. So it's going to be a struggle, but let's see, with 18-1 odds of winning the league, can we actually pull off a miracle? And I guess we kind of had. Did we really do all that much? I'm not sure. Last year, remember, there was 3 teams on 100 plus points. This season, I mean, we've got 85 points, and that was enough to get an automatic promotion spot, finishing in that 2nd place. In all honesty, though, if we'd lost a couple of games, we would have been out of the playoffs. It was that tight. Leeds absolutely smashed the lead, but us, Watford, Sheffield United, Middlesbrough, Hull, all of them were in and around us. Carabao Cup, we got to the quarters, where we were knocked out by Brentford. We could potentially have got through to a semi there had we beat them. And the FA Cup, Chelsea knocked us out in the 3rd round. But all we care about is the fact that we've moved into the Premier League. We've now been given £36 million to spend, which is obviously great news. Financially as well, we've got £30 million in the balance and about £150 million of debt that we're going to try and pay off across the course of this rebuild. Troy Parrott was the top performer of this year though, with 21 goals in 45 appearances. He was one of our best. Marco Balat had a nice first season at the club as well, with 9 goals and 8 assists from midfield. And Ashley Phillips stayed strong at the back for us. He's now 18, developing into a nice championship level centre-back. We don't know though if he'll actually be able to take a step up into the Premier League, so we've got about 30 million. Let's see if we can improve this side and take us into a Premier League level team, which is going to be very hard with the players we've got. Starting off with the outgoings, we have let promising wide player Tyrese Dolan go. He was one of our highest potential players at the start, but never really kicked on in our team, and then was starting to complain that he wanted to start more games, even though he was playing most of them, even if they were often off the bench. So we decided to let him move on. He was unhappy. £4.9 million to Sheffield United. I figured if he wasn't getting as much game time as he wanted in the Championship, he certainly would not get it in the Premier League, so it's a good time to sell him now whilst there's still some decent stock around him. And we also bring in £3.5 million for Sondre Tronstad, who was originally from Vitesse. Blackburn signed him, played a couple of seasons for us, didn't play too much last year. He's gone to Antwerp for £3.5 million, a Norwegian international, but he couldn't get a work permit for us, so there was no point us having him around if we couldn't play him, so he's been sold for a few million. And we've got quite a lot of transfers to get through here, so I'll try and move through them as quick as possible. But incoming at right back, we have got Costina signing from Rio Ave out in Portugal for £4 million. He comes in and is now one of our best options at right back. He's got all the ability you'd want, maybe a high-level Championship right back as opposed to a Premier League level one. But look, we take what we can get with Blackburn here. It's been very hard to attract any kind of real elite talents. Afonso Souza here joins us from Lech Poznan out in Poland after 2 good seasons for them. We've then bought him in for £2.5 million, a player that gives us some depth in midfield for very cheap and is classed already as one of our better midfielders. Enzo Boyomo comes in as a centre-back option option, the Cameroonian 22-year-old. He was ready to take the step up from Valladolid. He had joined them from Albacete in the second division, had a good season for them, got promoted and wasn't as good, but was still a very good player. 3.5 million is what we've paid for this centre-back option, who can also play as a right-back. Our biggest signing, though, was Ryan Aït-Nouri. We wanted a left-back option, and we have signed the man from Bournemouth. You'd think Wolves, but no, he actually signed for Bournemouth in this save for 17 million. A year later, we signed him for 12. He's a player with a lot of potential, and he could still do a lot in his career. I mean, the attributes are all there. He had so much potential back in the day, not so much now, but he is someone that, I mean, on paper, looks like he should be a phenomenal player in our team. Shola Shortire comes in on loan from Manchester United to give us some more options on the wing. We'll take him for a year. I don't think we'll be able to get him permanently. It's costing us just over $1 million for the full season. Caio Jorge comes in from Juventus with Troy Parrott not signing on for another season. We needed an extra striker. In fact, you'll see we signed 2 strikers this summer. The last one I'll show you in a second, but Caio Jorge is in on loan. He's played a few times for Juve off the bench and scored quite a lot of goals actually. So there's a lot of promise about the young Brazilian. And I said there'd be a lot of transfers, but our final one is this man, a Malian striker by the name of Sekou Koita, who we picked up from RB Salzburg on a free deal, and we had to pay about £3,000 compensation. Scored 11 goals in 16 appearances for them last season. A good striker, comes in as our best. Up there with Caio Jorge. He's quick, he's agile, he's going to get in behind and hopefully cause some issues for the opposition. And it leaves our best team now looking like this. Are we ready to try and stay up? Let's see the answer. Kaminski is in goal. Costinha, Hyam, Adam Wharton and Buckley in the midfield. As you can see, Adam Wharton is developing very nicely. Now apparently a £40 million man. Ryan Hedges, Shortire and Sekou Koita up front with some decent players on the bench. Have we adapted to the Prem though? Let's see how the game rates us in terms of the season preview. We're predicted 19th. We'll do very well to stay up. If you look at the odds of winning the title as well, we're nowhere even near 18th place Norwich or Fulham. 900 to 1. Apparently better than Hull at least. Is that going to be enough? We'll just have to find out. Let's see how we do in Season 3. Okay, so here we are. Season 3 is over. Knocked out in the Carabao Cup second round, the FA Cup fourth round, and let's see where we finish. So we can't see us in the top 16. Not looking good. We are, in fact, though, actually not done too bad. We finished 17th. Leicester, Fulham and Hull have gone down. Hull nowhere near us. We were far better than them. 10 points more than Fulham. Actually, we're a further distance away from relegation I predicted we might be. I genuinely thought we might have a chance of going down for the first time in a rebuild, but we've managed to survive. Let's see if there was any really big wins for us. Actually, we beat Leicester with only a game left of the season, which is really impressive. Did end up losing to Tottenham with Oscar scoring for them. Oh, I thought it was going to be the old Brazilian Oscar from Chelsea. It wasn't though. I mean, it looks like we had a really good period here where we beat Norwich 4-0 and then somehow beat Man City 2-1. Caio Jorge getting on the score sheet there. Some early wins in December helped us as well. We just picked up points throughout the season. We were never amazing, but we did get some very crucial wins. So well done to us. That win against Leicester would have been massive. I imagine Ewood Park would have been absolutely rocking during that game. And we have managed to stay up. And in terms of the average match ratings, no one was really that impressive this year. A struggle for pretty much everyone in the team. Adam Wharton has done very well in the Premier League though. For a young kid that started off as an 18-year-old for us, he's developing very nicely. No out-and-out amazing goal scorer, although Caio Jorge here, considering he didn't get a very good average match rating, did actually bag 13 times for us. So thank you to him. We might have stayed up. But now we need to really focus on this team, try and improve them. We've got £50 million to spend, and I'm hoping that'll be enough to elevate this side to a team that can at least comfortably stay in the Prem, but we really need to get these transfers right. And I think we've done some great business this summer, really enhancing our squad depth, bringing in some new players into our first 11, and a lot of them on really good deals as well. We'll talk about them in a second. Our sales will come first, but if you are enjoying the video up to this point, please go ahead and smash the like button as we get in to our penultimate transfer window, where we've sold Thomas Kaminski, our starting goalkeeper, over to Aston Villa for £4 million. He was coming to the end of his deal, wasn't really too keen to stay. We found a better player for cheaper on the transfer market. He wanted to go, said he'd become unsettled if we didn't let him move to Villa, so he's off now. Good luck to him, thank you for your service. And we added to our team by bringing in one of my favourite players in this year's FM, Duke, coming in from Aberdeen. The Cape Verdean international is someone that I had when I did an Aberdeen save on the channel. We went all the way from starting as a mid-table Scottish League team to winning the Champions League, and Duke was there until right at the end, scoring goals in our Champions League run. He's really that good. You can see he's been tearing up Scotland. We've only paid £2.6 million for him. I believe it was a release clause. He's someone with a lot of physical ability, able to get in behind, play as a striker, and I think he'll be a great depth option for our Premier League team. I mentioned we found a better goalkeeping option. I say better, he's definitely got more potential than Kaminsky, I think. It's a 23-year-old by the name of Samuel Suarez who comes in from Benfica, where he's been playing for their second team very well, been given a few first team opportunities, hasn't quite adapted just yet, but he's a player with a lot of years ahead of him, maybe not Kaminsky's level just yet, but he's certainly got a lot of ability right from the off. 6'3", under 21 Portuguese international. Who knows, maybe with us he can get his first Portugal cap, but great physical attributes for a goalkeeper, that's for sure. And if I didn't mention already, he only cost us 1 million, so I think that's a great bit of business. When we got the suggestion in the comments to do a Blackburn rebuild, there was a mention of trying to find like the next Alan Shearer for our team. We haven't quite managed to secure that, but we've got a big Russian forward, a 28-year-old by the name of Alexander Sobolev. He comes in from Spartak Moscow, where he's been absolutely knocking the goals in for fun. Our scouts then recommended him very highly. We've paid £17 million for him, said he's going to be a star player, 4-star ability, comes in by far as our best striking option. Strong, fairly quick, good goal scorer, decent in the air, penalties as well. This man will hopefully be a top draw player for us. We spent £6 million on a Nigerian 25-year-old. Another options come in on the wide area. Obviously, we've had loanee players over the last few seasons, Philogene and then Shortire. So by adding Duke and also Mukyaru here, I'm hoping that'll be enough to give us that depth on the left-hand side. Across the course of this rebuild, with only 2 seasons left, he comes in from Copenhagen for £6 million. When he did play for the Danish side, he was performing well, so hopefully that will translate into the Prem. A quick, direct player, decent first touch, can beat his man and hopefully create some chances. But we didn't stop there. We added some depth into our defence by signing 31-year-old Reinaldo from Atletico Madrid. These aren't the kind of transfers I usually go for in these rebuilds, but when you get a player that's playing for one of the best sides in Spain regularly and playing well, available as a free, we had to go for it. 31, so he's still got a few years left ahead of him. We've given him a pretty big contract. He will be an option at left back, but he also comes in as one of our best centre backs, so maybe he'll play there. Either way though, a great signing for us, I'm sure. Another free transfer, bringing in an older head, a more experienced head, bringing in Seko Fofana from RC Lens out in the French division, where he has been exceptional for 3 years. I believe in real life he might have moved to the Saudi divisions, but here he was still at Lens when I did the transfer update. A strong midfielder, box to box for sure, can tackle, can pass, can shoot, can dribble, physical ability. He's going to be our workhorse in the midfielder. Again, comes in as a star on a free deal. Hopefully he will be a top draw player for us. And then a bit of extra depth on the wing, but also central midfield, signing Kanya Fujimoto from Gil Vicente out in Portugal, where he's played a lot, but our scouts recommended him highly. He's going to come in as a depth option, but he has got good first touch, nice crossing, dribbling and corners, passing, vision and technique at an unbelievable level. The Japanese national could actually be a really handy pickup, and with all of those transfers, I think this team is definitely more acclimatised to the Premier League now, I would say. We're starting to see some actual recognisable names. It's starting to come together a bit more. Here is the side that we've now got. You'll see Adam Wharton is still getting in to that best 11, which is great for us. A lot of these players have been here from the start. Lots of talent that we've had from our first couple of seasons, and hopefully this team can translate well into the Prem. With 1 season left to go after this, we'd like to start seeing some progress. Maybe mid-table, maybe getting a Europa League spot. That might be a bit too much because we are actually 1,000 to 1 this year. 19th place predicted. This is going to be tough. Maybe it's not going to go as well as I thought. Let's see how we get on in Season 4. And it's been a much better season for our Blackburn team. I could sit here, and fake all these results and get a Champions League spot and say, look how amazing I'm doing. But this is not what we do. We just simulate the season, see how we go. And you know what? I imagine if you offered Blackburn fans in 4 years' time, you'll be mid-table in the Prem, they would probably take that. So I think this is a good result. Maybe we're not winning trophies, but we're certainly doing well here with 48 points after 38 games. This has been one of the hardest rebuilds for sure so far. I've just really not been able to attract the kind of talent that I want, even though we're a Premier League team. A lot of players are looking down on us and not wanting to sign for us, so it's been quite tricky, but hopefully this will help us now, getting an 11th place finish, only just behind Tottenham. We were actually only, 8 points away from a Conference League spot, still quite a big distance in the Prem, but look, we were miles away from being relegated this year. 13 points difference between Everton, Villa and Southampton, so we're very thankful for that. Winning 14 matches this time around, and some big wins as well. Arsenal, Everton away and at home, Chelsea, Man U as well. This has been a much better season for us, and if we have a look at who those top performers were, it looks like Seko Fofana was one of our best who played regularly. Adam Wharton and Scott Wharton, both of them doing well. Are they brothers? I actually don't know. I'm going to guess they are. Yes, there you go. They're both brothers. Both of the Wharton brothers doing well for us across the course of the season. Samuel Suarez as well, very handy in the net, developing very nicely. Sobolev ended up contributing with 18 goals, 14 in the Premier League, which is very handy for the £17 million man. It's a lot of money, but if he can score, that's all I can ask of him. We've also improved the coaching, the recruitment, the youth facilities and training facilities. Things are certainly on the up, and that's proved by a £75 million transfer budget, and financially we have 76 million in the bank. The debts are starting to clear a little bit, down to about 100 mil. I believe we were at 150 a few years ago, so we're starting to knock that down. And with one season left, how far can we take this Blackburn team? We're going to need some big transfers if we want to push for a European spot. We'll start off with the outgoings for our final season, where we've actually let a few players go that kind of disappointed me. The first one is Enzo Boyomo. He goes to Turkey after a couple of seasons for us, never really starting, never doing too great. We lose about £1 million on him, but look, he was a depth option for a few years and did the job. I just really thought he would be our big centre-back at the back, but it wasn't to be the case. Afonso Sousa as well, the Portuguese midfielder, has moved on. We signed him from Lech Poznan. He played a good season for us in the Premier League, didn't play too much last year, wanted to play more. He was wanting to be a star player. He just wasn't that level anymore, so we let him go. 600k loss, but look, we got 40 odd games out of him. I don't think that's too bad. And for anyone wondering as well what happened to Sekou Koita, he just never really did anything for us. Got 6 goals off the bench really in his first season, didn't do too much, goes back to Austria to play for Hartberg now, and good luck to him, but he was just never the man for us, and I really wanted him to be. To improve our team though, we've signed 2 centre-backs this summer. The first one is Dimitris Nicolaou here, a Greek international, 27 years of age, playing at a higher level than most of our centre-backs were. He's been playing for Napoli for a couple of years and actually starting for 2 seasons as well, having signed from Spezia at the start of his save. He's someone that I think could be a great player for us. He looks like he's got the ability to do so, a consistent performer and a nice centre-back option, and he's going to be partnered with a 26-year-old Turkish international by the name of Tayyip Talasunuk, who we have picked up from Besiktas for 8.5 million. They've used him for a few years and he's been pretty good for them, becoming a regular player at the back. 8.5 mil I don't feel like is the worst deal in the world. He's valued at about 15, on a similar level to Nicolaou, and both of them come in now as 2 of our best options. Heading into their prime as well, hopefully together they can form a pretty nice partnership. We spent a big chunk of our money on a new midfielder, Juan Gonzalez here. He joins us from Salento out in Serie A, where he's been absolutely phenomenal for 4 years for a team that you really wouldn't expect to do very well. The Spaniard signs for 18 million. He was originally a player at Barcelona and he has got tons of ability, first touch, passing, vision, technique. This is the first time I feel like we've signed I'm not going to say an elite level Premier League player, but a player that other Premier League teams are going to look at and go, wow, we want him in our side. He's already valued at 35 million. I think he's got great physicals as well, 6'3", really can't go wrong. Look how well rounded he is. Him and Sekou Fofana in midfield will hopefully make quite a deadly duo. And then the man that probably made the thumbnail, because I always try and put some of the more noteworthy players that we sign in the thumbnail, Brennan Johnson. It's as exciting as it gets for a Blackburn rebuild really, spending £33 million on him from Southampton, where he joined them from Forest. He's been pretty good, but our scouts really wanted him. They recommended him really highly, and we always go off a scout's opinion in these rebuilds. I actually had a deal lined up to sign Benjamin Sesko, but we ended up being a few £1 million short to get that done. So Brennan Johnson was our other option, a Welsh international, can play on the right, can play up front, clearly a player with a lot of ability, and hopefully he'll acclimatise well to our Blackburn team, which to finish off this rebuild, it's definitely not as exciting as some other rebuilds in terms of the players that we picked up, but hopefully this team can at least keep Blackburn here for another few seasons. Juan Gonzalez comes into midfield with Sekou Fofana and Adam Wharton. We've adjusted tactic a little bit to get the best out of them. We've got Brennan Johnson, Mukiaru here, and Sobolev up top with Reinaldo, Nikolai, Sanuk, Costinha and Suarez as the rest of our team, with the likes of Duke, Ryan Nori on the bench. I feel like we've done a pretty good job here, but it has been a really tough rebuild. I've mentioned it a few times, but I just haven't been able to sign the players that I wanted to sign. It's really not gone the way that I maybe intended it to. I was hoping by now we might have made a little bit more progress, but it is what it is. We're going to see how we do in Season 5 to see if we can make this rebuild a success. I'd say another year in the Prem, maybe mid-table, and I'd be fairly happy with that. Maybe a cup run. Let's see how we get on. Maybe in a few years this Blackburn team might be good enough for a Champions League, Europa League level spot, but it's going to take a while. Season preview has got us in 17th, so it's an improvement, but let's see what happens in our final season at the club. And the answer is kind of more of the same, nothing too exceptional. We finished a few places lower than before, but a similar points total, 47 points, clear of a relegation zone by 12 points. Ipswich, Sheffield United and Forest going down. Tottenham, 1 point away from getting relegated. That would have made this rebuild for me. If you don't know, I'm a Chelsea fan. Apologies, Spurs fans, but that would have been a brilliant watch. Either way though, we have finished 14th here, joint points with Leicester, only a win or so away from being ahead of Wolves in 11th, and minus 14 goal difference, losing 19 games, winning 14. Look, it's not incredible, is it? It's not been the best rebuild we've ever done, but at least we've kept Blackburn here. I'm sure if there's any Blackburn fans watching, you could let me know. Would you class this as 5 years of success, 3 years in the Prem, mid-table finishes? I feel like that's pretty good, right? And then we can build on it the way that teams like Brighton have over the years. But we've got money in the bank. We're starting to clear the debts and loans. Facilities, coaching, recruitment, all of that is at a good level, and we can improve that still. Maybe upgrade the stadium. We did produce as well. I forgot to show you this, but we produced a good youngster during this rebuild. Where is he? Here you are, Lewis Burt, who looks like he could be another great player coming out of the Blackburn Academy. Left-footed and right-footed, so he's already looking very versatile there. Lots of potential and already a very good player at the age of only 19. Going to be a Scottish international, I'm sure. But yes, we did produce some good young talent. That is our Blackburn rebuild done, though. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Let us know who you want to see next. Smash the like button, subscribe for more. But most of all, have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Thank you and goodbye.